Hello, hello. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about busyness and how that can affect you in your life and everything that you want for yourself in your life. So I'm sorry about the sound quality. I am currently in my camper because it is hella windy outside, and I figured you didn't want to be listening to the wind the entire time. So here we are. So, busyness. We always say this. It comes out of our mouths like nothing. I'm just been really busy. How are you doing? I've been really busy, right? That's something that we talk about all the time. And I want to talk a little bit how that belief, number one, is really counterintuitive, but also, and most importantly, as you continue with the busyness and the hustle, you are perpetuating just that. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about that. So I'll start with a story. So in the past, I was always so identified with this busy. I'm so busy. And a little bit of a ball crusher here. Being busy is you searching for enoughness. You searching for validation that you're so busy all the time. So then that equates to I am valuable because I'm always busy. You know, like for example, my husband is always working, so I'm always busy. That means I'm a valuable person in my relationship, right? So can you see how that busyness is truly just you trying to see where you fit? Okay? So side note, I digress. So moving back to this busyness and this belief that we have no time. I used to ruin my own vacations, my own events, my own times with my family, and all of these sorts of things because I had this deep belief that I was too busy for everything. So I never showed up. I was never present. And then I would get frustrated because I was giving and giving and giving. Because then I was keeping myself so busy so that I would have this value that I believed I needed. And then I would freak out. It would be week 2, week 3 of my vacation, and I would be so upset with everyone, and no one knew what to do because it was of my own making, this busyness that I believed I needed to have. Okay? So, I want to move to how can we not be on this freight train of always feeling like we're busy? How can we move away from that? Well, number one, the best way to move away from constantly being busy is to get creative with what you currently have. Okay? So an example of this might be, say you're balancing your health, you're balancing your job, you're balancing your children and your life and all these sorts of things, and you feel like you've got 100 spinning plates in the air and you don't know what to do. The best thing to do is to get creative. What would be an example of creative? Perhaps the job that you're in is not something that you love. So then you're constantly moving every single day, stressed out and upset and feeling like you're constantly busy because it's not of the heart. What are you passionate about? Maybe you're passionate about health. Have you ever considered moving to a health food store and working there? Now, this isn't a perfect solution, but it's one of them. So can you see that creativity is truly what brings about less busy? Now, here's the problem with creativity, is that we are too stressed out to see what we want, or not what we want, but rather what we can do in order to no longer be busy. So we're clear on what we want, or rather, we're clear on what we don't want. We do not want to be always busy. right? And then maybe you have some clarity on what you want. At the end of the day, you just really want to be able to read a book, turn on your diffuser, and just finally have some frickin' time for yourself. Maybe that's something that you want, right? But here's the problem, is that it's the in-between. You wake up every day, you go through the same motions of stress, and then you think to yourself, well, in order to get what I want, which is to read a book at the end of the day, I have to hustle harder. I have to work harder. So then we go back to this hustle culture that we're all in. Work harder, work harder, work harder so that you can get to the end of the list. But the list never ends. This was a huge slap in the face for me. When I realized this, my life changed. Like, this is big, okay? So, like, just understand that, is that it's not going to end. The list isn't going to end, but you can become more creative. Now, what breeds creativity? So that you can make smarter choices. So that the path that you have crossed 500 times and never actually looked right because you were so busy that you just kept going left because you need to go left, because you need to hustle, you need to work harder. What if turning right meant that you all of a sudden deleted 4 hours out of your day that you got for yourself? What if that existed? Now I can already feel the shoulders coming up, but understand that this is true. I have seen it with my students so many times. They have more time after they have worked with me. Okay? So what can create for you something that is more even keel, more free-flowing? How can you create a life that is more enjoyable? Sounds really counterintuitive. Okay? Are you ready? The way to create more time is to spend more time on yourself. Okay? Now, I'm not talking 3 hours. I'm not talking a 1-hour meditation practice. We don't all have time for that. But I'm talking about 15 minutes of intentional rest time, so that the next time that you pass the path where you could turn right, you have the presence of mind. Do you see? The presence of mind in order to say, hey, I think I'm going to turn right for once. I think I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this, a little bit of intentional time. And then when you do that, what happens? You find out that this thing that you kept passing was exactly what you needed in order to slow down your life. So self-care, self-help, rest, intentional rest specifically. I'm not talking about scrolling through your phone, that's numbing. I'm talking about intentional rest, something that feels really, really good and wholehearted to you. Okay? That in itself will create the creativity in order to make the smarter decisions so that you no longer have to hustle. Okay? This is a big, big, big thing. And I have seen my students do this 100 times over. I have implemented this in my life, and I am way more present, and I have way more time than I ever used to. And I have a business, and a very busy business at that. But I have so much more time than I used to when I didn't have a business. That sounds crazy, but it's true. So I want that for you. Okay? This is exactly what I teach in Embody You, Mind, Body, Spirit, which starts on September the 12th and enrollment closes on September the 11th at midnight. So if this is something you want for yourself, then I recommend that you check the link in my bio. At the top, you can learn more. It says Embody You, Mind, Body, Spirit. You can click there. I will post underneath this video a copy paste so you can look there if you'd like. And if it's something that you want more information on, I do offer 30-minute free calls so that we can chat a little bit about whether or not this is for you. Okay? So anyway, I hope that this has been helpful and illuminating, and you can see just the crack of hope, the sunlight pouring in of, hey, what if my life didn't need to always be so chaotic? And so I believe to the fullness of my being that this is something that can be available to you too. Because so far, I have not had anyone be disappointed. So far, I have not had a single person say, once they got it, because it takes time, there's a long process. This is not just like, you're listening to me now and you're like, oh, that's a great idea. I got it. And it's like, no, we have years of conditioning to move through. And that's why I do a subconscious reprogramming section that is really, really crucial to this process, as well as many other things. And when you go through this process, you will see that life will open up for you. Okay? So all my love. Thanks again for being so patient with the sound in my camper. And I hope that you have a beautiful and peaceful evening. Okay? Bye now.